Mullen, for your service. Thank you very much for that. Secretary Panetta, I was jotting down things during your opening statement, some things that I didn't find in the printed statement, but I applaud you on a great statement, but on three things in particular. First of all, a lot of people question the mission, the value of the mission, where we are today, and if there's the ones who know it best are the fighters in the field, the commanders in the field, and the families of those who have lost their lives. And when you made this statement, I was thinking that was just unique to me, that as I visit the families of those who have lost people, I have yet to have one of them deny that, talk about how we cannot allow this mission not to be carried through. And that's a very difficult thing. These are young people, and there's families of these young people, and I think maybe that's pretty consistent, of not just Oklahoma and our exposure to these people, but elsewhere too. Second thing you said that I think is very significant, and that is looking at any future cuts, whether they come through sequestration or anything else, would be, using your words, devastating to our abilities to defend ourselves. And closely related to that, and the question I want to ask you, when you talk about the hollow force, and we're going to avoid the hollow force, the easy thing to do for someone in your position is to put all the resources on what's bleeding today. And all too often that happens. So what gets neglected, it's usually maintenance, it's modernization. And if we don't do that, then we're going to have the hollow force. So I guess the first thing I'd ask you, I know what's happening to your resources. I know where they're committed. How are you going to maintain or avoid the hollow force that we've seen in the past?
I think the key is not to take the simple way out, which is to reduce everything by some kind of percentage across the board and try to take everything down. That's what we've done in the past.
Right.
And the result is that training was weakened. The force was weakened. They didn't have the weaponry. They didn't have the equipment. They didn't have the training. And as a result, we did hollow out the force. So my approach is to look at key areas here and make some tough decisions with regards to savings that do not involve just saying we're going to take everything down by a certain percentage. I'm just not going to do that.
Well, and also, and I would hope that you would be looking toward the future in terms of modernization and maintenance, those things that are not visible to the American people today. And I know that's what you meant and that's what you would do.
Yep.
Let me just ask both of you on, Senator Reid talked about the fact that the long-term commitment, and something that a lot of the American people don't think about, and that is if we have to come back a year from now, each month that goes by, the terrorists gain greater capability. We're talking about nuclear capability, delivering systems, and all of that. I know that when Netanyahu paid his visit here, his concern is each time that goes by, he was referring to Iran, but the capability of the other side is increasing. So to me, that kind of ties into something that I have thought it was a mistake, whether it's this president or past presidents, in making withdrawal dates, just the general concept, the fact that we are telling the enemy what to do, what we're going to do, and when we're going to do it. And if they know the timeline, in thinking about the mentality that we're dealing with, they don't think, we think in terms, the Americans generally do, of hours and days. They think in terms of years and decades. Last week, Ambassador Crocker said, and I'm going to quote now, he said, "What we have to do is, I think, demonstrate the strategic patience that is necessary to win a long war. It's going to require more resources. It's going to require more time. I hope we can bring those to bear. And because it's hard, painful, as expensive as it has been in blood and treasure, it's cost us a lot less, actually, than 9/11 did." Well, in terms of just the concept of setting these dates, I would just say, do you believe that when the dates were set, one immediately gone by us, that was July of 11, then the summer of 12, and December of 14, do you think that demonstrates the strategic patience that he was talking about? What's your feeling about the withdrawal dates as a concept?
Well, I understand your view on that, and I guess my approach to it is that the most important signal we can send is if we do this right and we pay attention to conditions on the ground and make sure that it works. Whether we have a date or not, the key here is making this transition work, making sure that the areas that we transition remain secure, making sure that that stability is put in place, making sure that we don't allow that country to ever again become a safe haven for the Taliban. In many ways, that's my test for whether this works or not. Whether there's a date or not, obviously, you know, we'll have differences over that. But I think the real key is how do you conduct this transition in a way that makes clear that we're headed in the right direction?
Yeah, well, and I thank you for that, and it's a difficult thing to deal with. I have to say this, that during every visit I've made over there,